When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Within the gaming world, there are your general gamers, but then there are those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming. If you're one of those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming, we certainly got the place to send you. Scorpion Lair Games. That's right, Scorpion Lair Games is the creators of the true crime hit Killers, the card game. Let's not forget they also have Killers Clothing Company, their profiler game, and things like the 5-Minute Murder channel on YouTube. And we certainly can't forget the new book that is certainly a hit, Beyond the Headliners, True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. Make sure you visit Jeff and the Scorpion Lair Games on Facebook and everywhere today.
Hi, I'm Ken Sagoes, and I'm listening to Crazy Train Radio, one of the best broadcast radios you can get. I had a great time here, and I can't wait to be back.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is take 2 because we had storms the last time and knocked out a power grid. But everything is good. But this next guest is no stranger to our audiences, as professionally on his resume, he has over 100 films, TV appearances, stage credits. He's an award-winning writer. Most people know him as Kincaid from Nightmare 3 and 4. But he's got a lot of projects himself, as well as a lot of charity work that he does, which he's big on. Our guest, Ken Sagoes. Ken, how are you?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing well. A little
Yes.
tired, but I'm doing well.
Yes, I'm glad we finally were able to connect again. No Wi-Fi issues. My phone's buzzing. I can deal with that later. Latrice Carter from Horror Movie Warriors with us, and my normal co-host from Wrestling,
How are you?
Mike Lano is with us.
Pleasure to
Hello,
meet
you two as well. All right, Mike. Uh, I'll let you go ahead. Before I bring Mike in, I'm sorry. I apologize. I do that often. Ken, you've been a busy bee with some newer projects and charity work. So, what do you have going on currently?
Well, this star behind me, these hands of children, um, is a support of my nonprofit called Giving Back. And I tend to send at least kids to summer camp every year because I couldn't afford to go to summer camp. And I pay for 10 college kids as they go off to college, books every year. Well, 11 this year. And so when I go to the horror convention, that's where my funds go. It goes to giving back because I realize that I'm a product of people giving back to me. And also, I just completed my short film, horror film called Socrates. And it's a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock, Wes Craven, and William Marshall. But the short film was dedicated to Tony Todd.
Oh,
And I just got word last week that some brokers are coming together. They're trying to raise a few $1 million to make it a feature film.
nice. Congratulations. Since you mentioned conventions, I do want to drop this here because it's important. Coming up in about 30 days or less than that at this point, there'll be a huge Nightmare reunion in Lexington, Kentucky at Scarefest. It's the Central Fields Arena, Rump Arena. It's convention center and arena. Place is huge. There's over 120 guests. I think there's at least 25 to 30 Nightmare related guests. But Scarefest weekend, you'll find a link on all releases of this episode so you can get your tickets, photo ops, all that stuff. But I know he's on a time schedule, so I want to go to Dr. Mike because you were telling us as Ken came in the room, you wanted to bring something up from his TV work.
Well, his movie work has got so much depth. I just wanted to ask, not just horror films, but what draws you to that genre? Because it's so incredible. But I'm looking at sideline conventions and some of your other work as well. But are you more drawn, or it just depends on the project and what you're sent to read as a script?
I like work. I don't think I've ever turned down maybe 2 projects. That's because it was just something in there that I just couldn't agree with. I wasn't against the project because I would dare not. I know how hard it is to get a project done, and who am I to come in and put my little paintbrush on it and say it doesn't work? So, but I like the work. I tend to really like period pieces. I like history, and everything that I write has a little bit of history in it. I do think that Southern works has a great deal of color to it, and anything that has to do with character, so I could go in and allow the character to possess me. I just like it. I like everything. Believe it or not, I started off as a writer writing for comedy, but I won the cable Emmy writing for drama. So and then I was doing stand up. I like to do it all. I like to be an artist, and that's what I should.
Well, you definitely are. Much respect for all of the charity work. And you're very, very busy because I think you were in Ottawa last month for convention or fairly recently. Tons of conventions because the fans they are similar to wrestling fans in being so passionate for horror and sci-fi. But of course, I'm older, but almost 70, but loved what's happening and then what's happening now. We lost legends like Shirley and obviously Fred Berry, Mabel, and then most recently Danielle just last month, who played Dee Thomas. And So such a brilliant, and plus I was so impressed when she left. She went into the healthcare field. I'm a retired dentist, and when she left acting and did that, it just added another layer, similar to you having so many great layers. But Danielle, just what are your thoughts on her? Because she is one of those icons of classic television and a
Well,
pioneer.
when I came to what's happening now, I like to say she was one of the arms that wrapped around me. And she was such a beautiful person, um, a person of passion, not just passion for people, but she had passion for animals and stuff. And
Well,
we didn't talk that much, but there was one time we just talked about life and everything. And I thank you for this type of interview because I get a chance to tell about me. Because when I came to Hollywood, I was a security guard. And so I got a chance to meet at Universal Studios. So I got a chance to meet all of the late greats, like Miss Lucille Ball, Telly Savalas, all of them, Marlon Brando let me take his workshop. I actually met Alfred Hitchcock. So
uh,
I'm not going to say I knew them, but they took time to talk with me and to pass it on. And so because of that, I feel like I'm rich with a lot of knowledge. I had a brief moment with, George Byrne. So
well,
I, I was on the sideline. I walked up a little short path with all of those, and just to be in their company, and just to see them pass something on to me. And so that's what I tell my young people, even tell the people, I'm a part of that because they gave me something. So, and they told me I had a responsibility to the arts. So, but I enjoy it.
Ken, last thing. I'm going to urge you, if you've not done your own book, because you are a wealth of history, please do. Those are my, those folks. Flip Wilson. I mean, all the greats.
But
Maybe you met him, maybe you didn't, but please do a book if you've not done one with all of these experiences.
my first little small scholarship was a Flip Wilson scholarship.
Uh,
I want to do a one-man show of Flip Wilson. I met him for a short time in a restaurant and told him what I wanted to do. And he said, don't learn just the show, learn the business. Show will get you out there for a minute, but the business will keep you out there eternally. And so all of those messages but yes, I've always wanted to do a one-man show of Flip Wilson. As a matter of fact, in my my high school yearbook, there's a picture of me playing Reverend Leroy, from Flip Wilson.
is there anything we can do to get Damon Wilson? I don't know if he's reclusive. I tried reaching out to him when he actually had a book come out, I don't know, maybe 15, 14 years ago from Sanford and Son, but he was, brilliant in other things as well. And he's so beloved. I don't know why. You would think if he just felt the love from everybody and came back out and I don't know, did anything, Entertainment Tonight or something, a brief interview, or CBS Sunday Morning, they did a piece on him, maybe talking about his experiences with Red Fox and all those great actors on that show. But those are people we need to celebrate and give their flowers while they're still with us.
Yes.
Right on.
Since I met Red Fox there too. So
But
each one of them, I have a story with Red Fox and all of them. But my organization, I put on a event called the Toast Roast, and it's where I believe in giving them their roses while they're still here. And some of the people we gave roses to was Brock Peters, Juanita Moore, Miss Ruby D, Mr. Ozzie Davis.
Ooh.
You know, it was selfish because I was doing it to honor them, but I also was doing it so I could rub shoulders with them. So
Nothing wrong with that, you know.
so Miss Della Reese let me sit on her lap.
Oh.
I've been, you know, because I realize who I am. It's because of those in front of me. But I'm also who I am because of the people now who believe in me. So whenever I go and talk to the fans, per se, I'm so appreciative because I am who I am because of them.
Right on. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to Ossie and Ruby D.
Yes.
Just brilliant folks.
All right. I want to bring up as I bring in Miss Latrice, because I just said this to her and I didn't want to forget. I don't know the date. I believe it is the 30th next week, or the next week or two. We have the Nightmare on Elm Street, 7 films on 4K, all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Are you not aware of this, Ken?
I've heard about it, but I didn't know if it was coming out.
It's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So,
really? Coming out?
Yeah, it's going to be hitting the market within the next week. And people, if you go to Scarefest, like I said, you can get a bunch of them to sign it, such as Ken and, you know, Bradley Gregg from 3, Lisa Wilcox from 4 will be there, Lisa Zane, and, you know, there's just so many. Bill Perry, who I spoke with last week, and I'm sure you remember Bill from the set.
All of us going to be there.
Yeah, everybody's going to be in Lexington, so make it a point to go out if you can. I'm coming out from the East Coast. It's going to be a good time.
This is my first time there, and I've never been to Scarefest before.
Kent, I'm going to tell you right now, because I've been there twice, and once was a couple years ago. I got to show you some good food down there, man. Right within walking distance of the convention center and the hotel, and that we'll all be at. And there's some good grub, man. I don't know how you are with food, if you're a picky guy or whatnot, but.
Do I look like I'm a picky guy with food?
No, you know what?
He sounds like my fiance.
You never know. You never know. But no, I'll show you some good grub down there for sure. Miss Latrice.
Yes.
Can I bring you on? I know you probably have a couple questions yourself.
Well, first, let me ask Mr. Ken, does he remember me? Do you remember this face?
You know, you look for me, but I can't see. But you do look for me.
Well, a couple of years ago, I want to say it was maybe it was 2022. You had went to Texas Frightmare Weekend, and I had came to your table
because it's a friend that I know of yours.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go. You do remember.
And I called him. We called him. Right?
Yep. We sure did. Mark Lee. He is doing good. His son just got out of the hospital, praise God. And his son was in the hospital for like months. And so yeah, I'm sure that took a toll on him and his wife. So
and how is he doing?
He's doing okay. He's doing good.
Good to hear.
Yeah. Yes.
So let's go for some fun stuff if we can, Latrice. And I hope, Mark, we love you, buddy. I don't know you, but let's send some love.
Yes, we love your son. His son, yes.
So let's go on the movie and horror front. What do you got rattling around in your brain there?
You know what? I was telling Jonathan, Ken, how I wish that you and the rest of the Nightmare 3 crew would do a commentary on the DVD. Because, I love listening. I don't know how you are with, being the commentary and everything like that. But I love to listen to the commentary. So how are you? I mean, what do you guys think about that, Ken? Is there any talks of doing so, or have there been any talks of doing so?
You know what? I think that is possible, but I think someone have to put it together. Someone who have some type of clout to put it together. I can tell you that most of us, we welcome, the interest to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. I believe, like myself, I had no idea what I had been blessed to stumble into when I did Nightmare on Elm Street. See, I had never seen or knew what Nightmare on Elm Street was when I got there. So, but if I had known what I had, I would have kept the clothes, the shoes, the underwear, everything that I would. But I did not know. I did not even know that the iconic role that I was playing was history for me.
It was so iconic.
Being the first African American to survive an international horror film and have to return for a sequel. Now, I give homage to the great William Marshall, who did Blackula back in the 70s, Black exploitation days, because he did part 1, 2. But it was maybe like a local thing, but it wasn't international. So, and I had no clue as to what I was doing. And I did get a chance to speak to Mr. Marshall before he made his transition, and told me that there was a responsibility that I had, and he would hope I would take that baton and keep it.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
There's nothing else to say about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's so funny that you talk about all the greats, because Joey Lawrence, I don't know if you know the Lawrence brothers or not. Joey, Matthew and Andrew Lawrence, they have their own podcast. Well, Joey, every chance he gets, he says how he learned from the greats. He works with Nell Carter. I love Nell Carter, and not just because her last name is Carter, but he worked with Sammy Davis Jr. came on the show when he tap danced with Sammy Davis Jr. All these greats, all the greats, and I feel like we don't have any of that now. I feel like
what I tell my kids, or the young people that's under me, this is really, they are the last generation have a possibility to talk with some of the greats. They're the last one that can actually talk with them. They can actually talk with.
I mean, I consider, I do consider Robert Englund a great, and he's still here. Thank God. He's still here.
And if I might, this just came in today that he's getting his star next month.
Yes, Halloween.
Yes. Halloween, I think.
Halloween, and I just got my invitation to be there.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
Today. So.
That is great.
I tell you how important it was to me. I was scheduled to be somewhere for Halloween.
Okay.
And I canceled.
Well, yeah.
Because
I'm sure those plans are canceled.
No, because you see, I can be rescheduled at another convention. Even though that is going to be on a Friday, I will that night fly and be there that Saturday. But,
yeah.
But like I said, I could be scheduled for another convention, but I cannot be rescheduled for another moment to see Mr. Robert Englund.
Yes.
Get his flowers.
So long overdue.
Much deserved.
Yes. I have obviously some nightmare questions myself, but I wanted to tap into, because obviously Latrice and Mike both brought up some interesting names of the past, and you mentioned about them telling you along the way, pass it forward, which you do with Giving Back Corporation and some of the other things you do. What would, if there's one or two traits that you can think of, is there something that you think a lot of these people that you had great interactions with, whether so brief or a long period of time, was there similar traits to all those people?
The question is that they took time to pass it on in words. The people that I talked about, they wasn't a legend. They wasn't a icon. When I talked to them, they was a parent, and they was telling a part of the village what needed to be done.
Yeah.
So, I was the one that was shocked,
That they were passing some of this knowledge on.
It was passing the knowledge on. It was big, and they talked about it, it could have been that I was a little country gentleman that, grew up where there wasn't no electricity for me and didn't move to Atlanta. So, it was funny that here I was in school, coming home, watching Laverne and Shirley, and then a few years later, I'm one of the writers on Laverne and Shirley. So to be able to do something like that and to have someone like Lucille Ball do this to you, even though it was just a short time, and to be sitting in a class where Marlon Brando is the teacher, and all those wonderful things, and to be able to go and hang out with Miss Juanita Moore, who was the second, I think, black lady to be nominated for an Academy Award. To hear their stories, it wasn't to hear their struggle, and that was at that time. There was no cell phones. There was a landline. Everybody remembered everybody's number.
Mm-hmm.
The phone didn't do everything to you. So they sat down and they talked to you, and it digested in me. So, so in a way, I think I'm very rich. Maybe not financially, but in the golden stories that have been handed down.
There's a certain wealth to this information that you were given.
Certain wealth, Yeah. Dick Anthony Williams, he gave me this here portfolio that he carried his pictures around. And someone gave it to him. And my job was to pass it on to someone that I felt worthy to take it. The thing is now, that's when actors, and we used to go around with our pictures and resumes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that anymore. So, and I guess I miss those days too.
Yeah.
I don't even think a lot of the movies are what they used to be now.
Yeah.
Because the story is gone. The stories are gone.
Jonathan, what do I always say?
The stories is gone.
Please go ahead and say it, Latrice.
I always say that the movies do not even compare to what they were in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. I'm watching a movie right now, The House That Dripped Blood, because I'm actually discussing that on my podcast this Friday. And this movie is so good. I mean, has got to be the 50th time I've watched it. And it's just very, very, like you said, the plot line, the story isn't there. But then again, neither is the heart.
Yeah.
Well,
The,
that
the
brings up a
heart.
good point, Latrice, what I was going to bring up before I ask my couple nightmare questions, because I don't want to keep Ken all night.
Yeah.
You have the history, and I mentioned in the introduction, you are an award-winning writer. So what made you go that direction writing?
Writing. You know what got me into, when I was a little kid in the country, I used to dream. And we lived not on a farm, but it was like in a little shanty in the woods, and there was a creek down below us. And this was my first short story. And I used to take, little paper and make a boat out of it. I don't know if you just make a boat. And I made me a boat. I made me a boat, and it was a creek about a few miles from me. And I put that creek in the river, in the lake. And at the end of this lake was a little waterfall. And then the next day, I was way down on the other end of the creek. And what came floating down there?
Your boat.
My little boat. And I went and wrote that story. I was in second grade, and it was called The Little Boat That Could.
I like it.
So from then I would write stories. I would write stories where I would see just animals, because those were friends. And I would make fun of it. So I think that was a writer in me from when I was born, when I was born. My mama told me that I was just rebellious when I was born for some reason. So, but I like to tell stories. I like to speak from the heart. Right now I have over 50 screenplays in my little library. And that is because I didn't get on cocaine. I didn't do drugs. Writing stories was what I did.
Oh, that's very commendable, especially in the era you came up in. You didn't go in that direction in the 80s and such.
And I have friends. I have friends and noted friends that they went there.
Yeah. I'll put it this way, and me and Ken have communicated a lot through the years, whether we see each other at conventions, emails, we ended up texts, whatever. Over the years, it's evolved, and Ken's always been straight aces with me. But when he says something like that, he didn't go down this road and all that. Some people did, and we're not judging anybody here in that case. At least I'm not. But I can say Ken, as a person, is as solid as they come in any time I've had communication with him. And something they mentioned, I tried to mention this the first time when I had the power issues, but they hinted at it with Latrice's friend, Mark, at a convention. Ken was at a show in Oaks, PA, right outside of Philly, and he did a similar thing because a fan of the show and a fan of the Nightmare series said, "Hey, can you grab me an autograph from Ken?" Absolutely no problem, yada, yada, yada. And Ken says to me, it was early in the show, he was the first guy I went to, he goes, where's your friend at? North Carolina. Get their ass on the phone. And sat and chatted like they were old friends. So what Latrice's story is similar, and I know Ken has done that countless times, to be able to take a moment that he don't have to and truly talk to his fans. It was, he is probably one of the most humble people I've come across in doing my thing.
Well, thank you. But I sincerely mean this, as the fans come up to you, but I don't want them, we are who we are because of you. And so at the least, that's a balance there.
Yeah.
Well, we're not up there by ourselves. And I just, and I just feel that. And I want to continue to feel that. I want your spirit. I know that when, I was talking to two of my producers for this short film that we trying to turn into a feature film. And I said, the horror community I feel is one of the most powerful communities out there. They support one another.
Mm-hmm.
Support one another.
And they support the artists. They support everybody.
So I have a right to what I'm doing is to make it right for them. Make it right for them. I dare not have Latrice saying, I was sleeping on Ken's film. So I have a story. It's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful.
Yes.
It's up my alley, but Latrice might notice because of her fiance is into the comics and stuff. Were you aware of or at least Kincaid being mentioned in the Nightmare comics and such?
No.
You weren't aware of it. Latrice, are you aware of this?
I am not. Brian.
You'll have to get back to us on that then.
Yeah, Brian doesn't do the horror comics. He does the action hero thing.
His ass has got to get stepping out of the house then.
Yeah.
just knowing you being a horror fan. Now he got report. But Ken, my two nightmare questions here for you. Obviously the story is famous in nightmare lore, where you go for the audition, you had to catch the buses and all that stuff, and you catch the buses, you go to the audition, all that stuff. And Latrice, excuse me, what you see in the movie is that was you being you. That was Ken Sagoes being Ken Sagoes when you go, oh yeah.
You just bought yourself a night in the quiet room, mister. Now sit down. Fuck you. You sit down. Easy, Kincaid. Nobody gonna put me to sleep.
Come on.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask. I was gonna ask you if I was Ken. Yeah. I was gonna ask you if Kincaid it was you, or does he have, or maybe I should say this. Maybe I should ask this. Do you have the kind of personality that Kincaid had?
I think every actor has some of that personality in their role. Most of them, I'm saying, depending on it. But I don't want to say that was a part of Ken Sagoes and Kincaid. What I would like to say is that I allowed Kincaid to become a part of, possess me. And that's what he said those things. Because honest to God, I've never in my life said burnt paste pussy until I was there, because the character possessed me.
Right.
Because as I was saying, with his personality, like I'm talking Ken's personality.
Right.
Yeah. I can't see him. He's so mild-mannered, humble. He'll tell you what he thinks.
Right.
Like you don't see, like I can't see that, like that Kincaid side of him being out of his personality.
The thing is, I came from, I was in the streets in Atlanta.
Okay.
I wasn't necessarily a part of the streets. Now my friends in Atlanta,
right.
We used to hang on the corner. We join each other. We would signify on each other. So I knew how to signify. I knew how to say those things, So I think that when Kincaid got into his moment, it was flashback when I was only a kid, because you had to be able to survive on those streets.
Oh, absolutely.
By talking
especially
shit.
Atlanta.
I knew how to talk shit, but I knew that once I walked into my mother's house, or walked into the house, you can't do that.
Yeah, that was, that side of things were, yeah.
No.
Especially growing up in a Southern household. Oh, absolutely. Mom wouldn't have dealt with that one
But
bit.
it was something mom wouldn't have, but the community wouldn't allow it.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. There wouldn't have been.
When I was going to school for teachers, that was 3 to 4 whippings. Got a whooping at school. Then you get home, you get a whooping for having to get a whooping at school, and then when your father come home, that's another whooping. So, and then
you just reminded me of a story my dad told.
And then walking home, you got whipped with eyes. Because the community watched over the children.
Yeah. You just reminded me of a story my dad told. My dad is gonna be 66 tomorrow. And we grew up near the Philadelphia area, as I said, and it was nothing major per se. He got in trouble at school, or he skipped school something, and word had gotten back because we're from a small community. Walks in, how was school, Mom? Oh, Mom, it was good. Boom, backhands it. What? You lying? But yes, the community looking out for each other. Obviously, in part 3, you worked with Lawrence Fishburne, who is another legend among legends. When we're talking, that's the theme of the night. But you also had a classic line in 4. And tell him Freddie sent you during your death in the junkyard scene. And there's a good story about that later on. I'll say that for when I connect with you in Scarefest. But I know Robert changed Welcome to Prime Time Bitch to fit his dialect and all that stuff with Jennifer. Did you have any freedom in 3 or the first half of 4 that you were involved with on screen? Did you have any flexibility to change anything and make it yours?
Yes, and it was very little. I don't remember. What I remember is doing the audition, because I think I've told you all, is that Kincaid was originally written for a white actor.
No, I didn't know that.
Kincaid was not
Well, I'm not surprised. A lot of the writers write stuff for, like I know Lisa Tuttle on Saved by the Bell was written for a Jewish girl.
So I think at the end of something they decided to look at a black actor, and that's when they auditioned black actors for Kincaid. And when I walked in and I read the script, because you have to remember, I didn't think I fit the character. I didn't think I was going to get the character. I was wet. It had been raining. I was pissed off. I didn't want to be there. So I said how I felt. And I just think, I said, a black guy wouldn't say this shit. Black guy wouldn't say this. I didn't say it. I don't think I said it in a disrespectful way to the director, but I said a black guy wouldn't say this. And he said, well, say it how a black guy would say it. That's when I said those lines. And he just said, thank you. I just thought I didn't get the role. But when I got home, my agent said they loved me and I had the role.
And I'm going to ask, or let Latrice ask the final question, but my final question is, and that's a good point, with Kincaid maybe not being written for a black eye and all that, what you just talked about. Well, since they ended up changing and you got the role, I know this might be tough when we self-reflect on each other or ourselves, but what do you think it was about you to say for them to go, we want Ken?
I think it because Kincaid didn't come in there and was just a muscle man. I think he came in there as a person, and even though I was angry and didn't want to be there, I showed it. And they unfortunately thought I was acting, but I but I was trying to rush, and And one of the reasons that I was rushing is because I don't know the exact time. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say it was 6 o'clock. I know that last bus that I need to catch left at 6:20. So I need to get out there and get to that bus stop, and it was raining. So I was trying to look. I don't want to be here. So, but I think Kincaid also showed vulnerability.
I could see that.
He showed vulnerability, and he didn't go in there like muscle that he wasn't scared. I just think that Kincaid had to show some vulnerability, and I think that's what they loved about the character. So, as far as the movie, I have to give a great deal of credit to the director Chuck Russell, because he brought all of us together 2 or 3 times before we shot the first scene. So all of us was friends or very close acquaintances before we shot our first scene. So one of the first scenes we shot was in that room,
the group room,
the pump room, all of us together.
Mm-hmm.
So we all cared about each other. We all knew each other. We wasn't just actors who sat down and said, "Hey, how you doing?" and then did a role. We knew each other. We had an investment in each other.
Miss Latrice, I'll let you put a bow on this interview. Do you have something you'd like to bring up?
Yes. How was it working with Patricia Arquette? Because I did meet Patricia Arquette. She was at Texas Frightmare Weekend last year, or this past year, I should say, and her first convention ever. And I didn't get to talk with her, but I did get a picture with her, and she was so nice. She greeted us, and her sister. We took a picture with her and her sister. So how was it working with Patricia, and then how was it working with the woman who replaced Patricia Tuesday night, who I did get to meet as well? So
tell you something about those 2 ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies with the utmost respect. I have a special place in my heart for Patricia Arquette.
Mm-hmm.
I was new up here. I lived in South Central, close to South Central. Like I said, I didn't have a car. And it was late when we got off work one time. And we were shooting over at UCLA. Patricia Arquette and her Volkswagen drove me all the way home in the hood and dropped me off in front of my door. And she didn't know me that well, but she wanted to make sure that I got home. Because I told
Amen.
her. And so I will forever be grateful for her. So when I broke through that door and she said I could hug you and all this thing, that was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful on set, caring on set.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really seen her since Nightmare 3. And that is one of my wishes and dreams, is to see her again. And I know we're going to work together one way or another. Now, let's move to Tuesday night. I believe that Tuesday night had one of the hardest jobs.
Oh, she did.
She had one of the hardest jobs.
She did.
Patricia Arquette left her some serious
some serious shoes to
fill. But Tuesday night, when Rodney Eastman and I got to the set, we was at our dressing room. There was a knock on my door, and it was Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night that came and welcomed us. It was Tuesday night that got together with the 3 of us, and we walked to the set together. And Tuesday night did her role, because there was a part of me that rebellious, because I wanted my Patricia Arquette.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when Tuesday night did her first line, she had me. She made Kristen hers.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, you was brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Ken, like we mentioned already, October 17th to the 19th, Scarefest, Lexington, Kentucky. But Ken, where can they find you on social media and see also about your charity work and all the good you try to pass on?
This is my logo. And you can go to Ken Sagoes Giving Back Corporation, and I will come up. Or if you want to buy any books that I have written, my comic book, Socrates, you can go to the Sagoes Company. Hello.
That's young Christopher. You heard in the background a little bit there.
You can go to thesagoscompany.com. But if you have any problems, just reach out to me on Facebook, messenger me, and I will respond. Sometimes it may take me a few days to get back, but I will respond to you.
Yes, he does get back to you. Ken, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Lexington. I'm going to show you some good grub down there. There's a hidden place right across the street that has a hell of a pizza. I don't know if you're a pizza guy.
Food guy.
We're gonna have some food. I'm telling you. I'll surprise you with some stuff there.
And I'm waiting on both of you to come. Well, Ken come back to Texas for me a weekend, and I'm waiting for Jonathan to come to Texas for me.
I don't think they'll let me in Dallas Fort Worth, but
just tell them to invite me. I'm back.
Yes.
Because I still have kids that I have to pay for their books.
Yeah.
So I need to go.
Yeah, but if you see Ken at a convention, whether it's Scarefest, Texas Fright, wherever he might pop up, go support this man. Ken, thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself, and I'm.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you.
Hey folks, looking for the ultimate destination for the nerd enthusiasts and collectors? Well, we found the spot for you. Nerds Nest Collectibles is a haven for nerds, geeks, and fans alike, as they have many different products and certainly more to come. Make sure you go ahead and visit them at nerdsnestcollectibles.com. Check them out.
Hey everybody, this is Brooke Feast, your favorite bug girl from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and you are listening to Crazy Train Radio.